Hello and welcome back to America Then and Now. We're going to talk about old and new and right now current events, which whatever comes to my mind, we're going to talk about a little bit. I hope you're doing okay. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and enjoy the videos. There's always something in any of these videos, whether we're talking about Bigfoot or aliens, or today we're going to talk a little bit about COVID and a little bit about America versus China. Remember, I lived there for a long, long time teaching English, and what they do is a little surprising compared to what we do. So anyhow, we'll get started here and see what happens. Now, one good thing, yesterday in the news, the CDC was talking about how if we get vaccinated, we won't need to wear a mask in public anymore. That's a good thing. That means we're slowly beating COVID-19 on the head. And remember, to kill a snake, you usually got to cut its head off. So I wish for nothing but the best. But anyhow, here in America, you know, our medical community, our medicines, everything's really regulated pretty good, and as a nation, as a whole, we are a lot more knowledgeable about medicines and what goes into our bodies. But it's totally different in China, and that's kind of what we're going to hit on here a little bit. This is more of a trending video, maybe a little bit. And I want to talk about why China is a breeding ground for superbugs. And there's a reason why. It may not be the number one reason, but it's a pretty good one, and nobody talks about it. But anyhow, in America we do really, really good, and we're knowledgeable. We know what antibiotics are for. We know what they do versus pain medicines. And, you know, we're just better educated on what medicines do. But in China, one thing that happens in China, for one, they go to the doctor for everything. If they have a broken fingernail, they're going to go to the doctor, and the doctor usually going to give them an IV for anything. If you go to the doctor in China, they're going to try to stick a needle in your arm. And we don't need that. You know, here in America, you know, if you get an IV, it's something pretty serious, you know, and they're not going to just go hang a bag on you when you go to the clinic. But in China, it is, if they come to your house, that little sucker is going to have an IV bag in his pouch. I promise you. And China has good doctors, sure, but China is really, really bad about informing people about choices and knowledge and things like that. So one thing that goes on over there that they just don't talk about is there is an incredible abuse of antibiotics. And it's from not being educated. It's so hard. When you walk into a pharmacy in China, if you are, for one, if you go to the doctor, he's going to give you whatever he's got in his bag, and then he'll probably send you to a pharmacy, you know, with a little list of things to get. Now, in America, we like to actually buy, you know, we like to buy a drug, and we're not as strong on homeopathic or natural remedies maybe as we should be. There's a good and bad to that, and this happens in China big time. You'll never, ever, ever, I've never seen it, probably get a prescription or get a Chinese doctor to say, hey, go get some Advil, go get some ibuprofen. They want to prescribe or tell you to get a natural remedy. Remember, in China, Chinese medicine is a big, big industry. It's traditional, you know, all the doctors are signed up on it, you know, that's what their predecessors did. And some of it is good. Some of the Chinese medicine, the best allergy medicine I think I've ever taken was a natural medicine. And for sure, anything to do with the gut, diarrhea, stomach aches, they hands down have some wonderful teas or some pills you can take, and fantastic. Really, really good. I can't say enough about those particular things. And I can only talk about my experience. But on the, when you walk into that pharmacy, what the Chinese people are not being told is the differences between things. Those little pharmacists are just like Uncle Joe has a store downtown. Well, this pharmacist wants to make all the money he can make. It's business. I understand that. So he's going to try to sell you on anything, whether it's natural or whatnot. And over there, antibiotics are, you can get zithromycin, amoxicillin, Ceflax, whatever. You can get any of the normal antibiotics over the counter. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that if you're educated on the use, if you can follow directions. So that's the deal. You know, in America, it'd be okay, I think, in America, because we can read directions. If they did that in America, if you knew, if your infection was probably, bacterial or viral or, that stuff like that. If it's a toothache, whatever you're going to take. But in China, they're simply not educated about it. And I used to talk to my students about this all the time. They go in and they're going to buy whatever that pharmacist needs to make. Whatever he's selling, they're going to buy. And so a lot of Chinese people, not a lot, all of them, they think an antibiotic, just like right here, this is amoxicillin, and the Chinese name for it is amoxicillin. They think of this as a pain medicine. I got a toothache. I need to take some pain medicine. They don't think about this first. See, and we know the difference. This gets rid of a symptom, and this can get rid of the cause. But they think, it may go back to a lot of Chinese medicine. If it's going to work, it may take 3 or 4 days for it to work. And a cycle of antibiotics, it may take a few days for it to kick in, depending on how bad your illness is. So some of this may be a natural thing, but it comes from being uneducated about medicines, and the pharmacist's not going to volunteer very much information. So, in China, and usually one side of, like in America, our drugs, our ibuprofen and Tylenol and all this. Well, in China, one side is usually English, and the other side will be written in Chinese. But the pharmacist has to recommend this. So anyhow, this. But they also want to sell you this. But the Chinese, again, they think this is pain medicine. And here's the problem. Being a breeding ground for superbugs. The reason those bugs come out of China, guys, so strong is that everybody's damn near immune to all the normal biotics, all the viruses and all that kind of stuff over there. They're already fighting this in almost everybody's system. So no wonder when one, like COVID-19 or something similar virus, when it decides to take off, that sucker's already an experienced virus. It's tough, and it can do battle with anything. And that's what kills millions and thousands of people. So that little lab in Wuhan that they talk about on the news probably did start things. A virus could escape out of the lab. It can escape out of anything. It doesn't have to be in China. It can be in America too. probably China is aware of what's going on. Internally, there's people that know about viruses. They know about antibiotics, but the public does not get told about it. The government does not tell the people crap in China. So again, here we go. They're taking antibiotics for everything, thinking it's when maybe they only needed this. Got it? No wonder why there's this gigantic problem with superbugs coming out of Asia. And I guarantee you China's not the only one that thinks like that. Asia is big on the past. They're big on their history. They're big on homeopathic and natural remedies. It's time to get out of the Stone Age for those people. Other things that's going on over there, they thought originally the COVID was caused by animals, in a food market, or street markets. Yeah, that's another deal too. Even though it's really cool to get your fish fresh and still swimming and get your chickens as soon as the head's cut off and all, it's fresh. In China, when you go to those food markets, those street markets, and usually a big food market may just be over a big old giant metal roof, and this end over here is the vegetables, and you got pork and beef and fish and all your dried goods, your rice and your seasonings, all this stuff's under one roof. And they are cleaning the fish and chopping the heads off and throwing them in the water right then, or throwing them in the trash. They're cleaning the chickens on the spot. Everything's being cleaned pretty much on the spot. Now they bring the pigs in dead, but they're all getting cut up right there on the spot. And it's filthy. Imagine all this blood and feathers and all this stuff going on the floors. It is filthy. And it's too easy to catch a disease from stuff like that. Now, I love going and visiting those places. And if you buy fish still swimming, they'll knock it in the head for you. You can carry it home and clean it. Chicken, I bought chicken breast while it's still warm. But you do what you do to survive. But the underlying conditions around the food market is really, really nasty. And I didn't like staying in one too long. I would go buy exactly what I needed, some potatoes or rice, whatever, and get out of there because I didn't want to go around breathing anything I didn't need to breathe. So China, as good as it is for many things, I love the Chinese people so much. But the way the government controls and lets things slide by, it's just a breeding ground for a superbug. And there's going to be another one. There's going to be another bug coming sooner or later out of there that there may not be any medicine for. So people need to get off the stick and get educated over there. But also we here in America, in China, wherever people need to be researching and developing new, better strains of antibiotics, because there's going to be something come around the corner that may kill more than just a few 100,000 people or a couple million. It may kill millions and millions. Remember, and now at least we're aware of what can happen. So anyhow, a little bit of comparisons about China and America. I hope you learned a little bit in this video. It's just the way it is over there. It's hard to break tradition. And in America, we're so much more educated. Our doctors tell us everything. The internet tells us so many things. And over there, they just have to believe what their doctor tells them. And they buy what their doctor tells them to buy, whether sometimes they need it or not. So anyhow, you have a great day, and I hope that see you again just in a few days with something else new. So bye-bye. Take care.